To be able to do something like that, raise an awareness for deaf football now, it's really good. Yeah, he made me a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It just I saw him supporting Chelsea, and I thought, you know what, I'll support them as well. When I got abused, just for being deaf, it was awful. It was horrible. If I never, got involved with Derby as much as I did, I would never got into England at all.
Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Retrospect. Today it's a bit of a different type of video, as I'm joined with.
My name's Will Palmer, and I'm playing for the England deaf football team.
Yeah, so we've got Will Palmer in today, so it won't really be talk about football shirts or general football chat. It'll be more about Will, his life as a deaf footballer. So Will, start us off. Where are you from? What's your story?
So I was born and raised in Peterborough, and yeah, I've grown up with you since the age of 4 years old, and yeah, it's been going alright. Been playing a lot of mainstream football. Played for Hampton, Stamford, Northern Star, Fastest Celtic deaf football team. I played for Peterborough United deaf football team. And I've been on trial at Peterborough United as well, but unfortunately that didn't really work out. But we don't talk about that. But yeah, it is going alright. Yeah, it's going not too bad. They're University in Leeds now.
Yeah, who are you playing for at the moment? What teams? Because I know it's not just one team, is it? You play for about 3 different teams.
Yeah, so I play for Fastest Celtic deaf football team. Doing quite well with them at the moment. We just won the league, won the Northern League, and we're in 2 semi-finals of the National Deaf Cup and the English Deaf Cup finals. And yeah, it's 2 different cups, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah.
I also play for Kiverton Miners Football Club, who are step 6, step 5 or 6.
Is that 5 leagues off National League? Is that what it is?
No, it's lower than that. It'd probably be about, say, 3 or 4 leagues below National League.
Oh, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it's alright, but it's good level though. Like I think the players that I played with are really good. I mean they've all played at higher levels, but I think the club just wants to, have like a fresh start.
Yeah, steady the ship
basically
again.
Basically a new era, pretty much. A bit like Chelsea at the moment.
Did you say Kiverton used to be a lot higher and they got back-to-back relegations?
Yeah,
was it?
Yeah. I think they were quite a good level at the time. But I got told that there was, they went through like a rough patch.
Yeah.
And then obviously went down a bit. But I mean, I don't know the full story, but I mean, I heard they were a really good team back then. And then I also play for the England deaf football team.
Yeah.
And that's probably just the one aim, the one that I get most excited for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going great. We have camps every month. We've got a game against Germany coming up next month, end of March, at AFC Telford Stadium. I'm not sure what the stadium name is, but there's 6,000.
Derby Day.
Yeah.
6,000 people going to be there watching.
It's going to be a heavy rivalry.
What's the largest crowd you've played in front of?
I'm not sure actually. I don't think I've played in quite a big audience before.
No.
But I'll say, I made my debut for Stamford, who were just a couple of leagues below National League. It was like the last game of the season, so all the fans were there.
Yeah.
And I'll say probably near to 1,000 were playing. I came on for my debut for the last 10, 20 minutes. And yeah, I remember just getting the ball and just taking on the player, and all the fans were just like,
going mental.
Yeah.
What's
like,
that?
You hear like, ooh, go on.
Yeah. Does it actually play in your head when you hear stuff like that on the pitch? Because obviously, as a fan, the whole game you're shouting stuff and you don't really think it means anything to the players. But
it gets you going. It really does get you going. That's why you see most players. When I'll say it's the last 10 minutes and they got like that to the fans and they're trying to get them going.
That was like Saint Maximin or Casemiro yesterday in the Carabao Cup final.
Yeah, I was watching that. It literally is the exact same. And yeah, I remember that game. Just they had the drums going on as well, chanting and stuff like that. It was wicked.
So well, I want to go back and start from the beginning.
Yeah.
So how did you get into football? Was you just always growing up playing football, or was it as you got older you just realised you were quite good at football, so you started playing more?
I think yeah, Yeah, I've always played football. I played football since the age of 8, playing for Hampton, mainstream football, and I think I pretty much just realised that I was playing striker or right wing at the time,
Yeah.
and I was scoring like maybe 20, 25 goals a season. I think
How old were you at this age?
about 8 or 9. At
8
the
or
time,
9, yeah.
Yeah, it was Hampton like under 9s or under 10s, stuff like that.
Under
That's-
Glenn's masterclass.
Yeah, Steve.
I think Graham Potter out, get Glenn,
Oh,
get
man.
Glenn at Chelsea manager.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Steve-O.
Yeah.
Steve-O.
What a legend. What a legend.
What a legend.
Um,
And then where did you go after Hampton then? So that was just under 9, so that was just when you were a lot younger. When did it start getting serious from playing football just for a bit of fun?
It didn't really get serious through mainstream football. It got serious as soon as I got involved in the FA talent pathway.
Yeah.
I remember going into the talent pathway. It was just full of, like pretty much world class coaches who were willing to to coach us, coach like 11, 10-year-olds who have the potential to be to make it to the England definitely.
Is that only with people with disabilities that's open to, or do people with like just hearing footballers also have that chance?
It was disabilities.
Yeah.
So it was so basically the power teams is deaf, CP, cerebral palsy, blind, a blind squad, and partially sighted. It's those 4 teams. I think those 4 teams, and they got a talent pathway for each of the disabilities, and it was I've been involved ever since I was 10, 11 years old, and I just stuck with it, and just I think the coaches made me realise how much it takes to to get to that next stage, and then the stage after that, and it was hard, but I mean luckily it paid off. It was great. It took a lot of commitment and dedication, but it's all worth it in the end.
So you started playing for Northern Star, was it? And they were obviously like a top club at our age level in Peterborough. Yeah. So was you playing for them when you got onto that talent pathways, or?
Yeah. So it was mainly around the same time. Northern Star, I played for them. So I was with Hampton for about 3 seasons, I think, and then went to Northern Star, and then I played for them for about 3 seasons, and we was in Division 1 for a bit. And then loads of players started leaving. And then I don't know how, but for some reason we were in Division 1 and we got relegated straight down to Division 4.
Oh, really?
Yeah, of 9 aside. And then it was baffling. Even the manager was like, he appealed and stuff like that. I know it's like under 13s and stuff like that, but he was still like really.
Well, yeah, Northern Star took it very seriously.
Yeah. It was full of great players at the time. But I think. Yeah, nowadays is Northern Star folded now. They're not.
They're not a club anymore.
I think FC Peterborough have taken over now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I suppose Saturday teams in Peterborough are getting quite big with like Peterborough Sports, obviously now in the National League.
Yeah.
Or are they the National League now? Or National League North?
Yeah,
National League North.
Yeah. It's a bit weird though, National League North, even though we're in the south.
Yeah.
But I think it's because Peterborough is just off the A1, and the A1 goes up north to all these places. So I think that's why they're in the north.
It's just easier to get to.
Yeah.
So we spoke about you growing up and stuff. So when you got onto the pathways, where did you go from there? Did you go straight into the England setup? Did you go straight to St George's, or how does that work?
So the talent pathway, it was pretty much I think it was 4 stages. So you had like local talent camps, when you recognise like the young talent around in their regions.
Yeah.
So I was obviously Cambridgeshire. There was a Cambridgeshire talent camp, and it was and it was just full of players who had the potential to get to the next stage. I got selected to go down there, and then it was and then obviously I think I must have impressed in a few of the talent camps. Got through to the next stage, which is the emerging talent camp, which is around the age of I'd say 13 to 18.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit older. And it was full of players who are just pretty much exciting talents, because you got all these players from regions and you're all putting them in one place.
It's like the best of their little city.
Yeah. So
and you're playing with all of them.
Yeah. So obviously the standard was actually quite high, even for deaf players. It was really high. It was quite surprising. And then now, I was in there for a while. I was in there for a long time. I'd say about 5 or 6 years.
Yeah. So how many people that are part of that talent path actually make it to then play for the England deaf team?
So I mean, when I got through to the talent pathway, I was one of the couple of players. That was it. It was rare.
Yeah.
But I think because they've put in so much funding and like so much like advertising and stuff like that, like actually put it out there, I think loads more players are getting in now. Loads more players are getting in. Not quite into the emerging talent camps, but into the under 21s now and stuff.
Yeah.
Like that. You've got loads of players coming in now. But I think the gap between the under 21s and the men's is difficult. It's difficult.
Do you think the actual ability of deaf footballers is getting better,
Yeah.
or do you think it's more a case of it's more publicised now, so people know they have the chance to be able to properly play football for their country?
Yeah. I think it's both, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think like England have really stepped up. They're putting so much funding towards the talent pathway.
Yeah.
Like, they got better coaches. They got scouts now. They got we've got strength conditioning coaches, psychologists. All the staff.
It's like you're playing for the actual England team as well.
You get treated like a professional.
Treated the same.
It's brilliant. But yeah, also at the same time, it's getting publicised quite a lot.
Yeah.
I
know BT Sport are doing loads for it, aren't they, at the moment?
Yeah, absolutely loads. I think you said something yesterday about away days.
Yeah, deaf away days with the two brothers.
Yeah,
Mario.
I know them.
And he was
Mennos and Marios.
Was he your coach for a futsal team?
So, no, he wasn't coach for me. I didn't play for futsal for a long time.
Oh.
But he just won the the women's Euros futsal.
Oh wow.
Deaf futsal team.
Fair play.
And yeah, he's a class coach. Really passionate. Yeah, he knows what he's doing. Yeah, some massive credit to him. Yeah, I get dropping little texts saying congratulations.
I saw he had a show. Him and his brother had a show, Deaf Away Days.
Yeah.
And then obviously when you played in the was it like the Deaf FA Cup final? The cup that was on
FA Disability Cup.
Yeah. So what was that like playing on TV? Because I watched it on BT Sports with my uncle at home.
It was great. It was class. To be able to do something like that, raise an awareness for deaf football now is really good. Just the pressure. I can't lie. That pressure that day, it was massive.
Yeah.
Yeah, just like playing all in front of these cameras.
And the team you played had they lost the cup before? They'd won it like so many years in a row.
Oh yeah. So we was on that day. We was the underdogs.
Yeah.
That day. And it was pretty embarrassing. We played in another final against them that year, and we lost 7-0.
Oh jeez.
Yeah.
So you had to rewrite some wrongs.
We that hunger just to get back at them. It was that hunger paid off.
And a last minute winner.
God, what?
I still remember the camera showing you like sprinting to celebrate with all you screaming. Yeah. You're all going mental.
But mate, he was good the whole game, but like in that last minute, he just turned into Messi.
Yeah.
it was mental. Yeah.
Ancala Messi.
Yeah, that's
what a player. What's St George's like then? So that final was at St George's. What was it like the first time being invited to St George's Park?
So the first time I got invited to St George's Park, when I was younger, I got invited to St George's Park, but that was only to play on the Astros outside.
Yeah. Not
the one that was in the FA Disability Final. It was a different Astro just outside. It was a beautiful place, don't get me wrong, but playing on the Astro wasn't nothing compared to playing on the grass pitches.
Well, you could just be playing on any Astro, isn't it? They're all like the same.
But the first time I got invited to a men's camp with England, we played on the grass pitches, and God, it was I couldn't believe it. It was the pitches are like basically a carpet,
perfect
carpet. It's just been sprinkled on. The goals are already. You got all the cones out, all the footballs out.
Yeah,
it's beautiful. But nothing hits better than playing at night. You got the floodlights.
The floodlights on. A bit of rain when it's a victory, isn't it? Slide tackles flying in. Yeah.
Exactly that. That's my favourite.
Do you remember where you were? Did you get an email or phone call or anything to say like you've been chosen? When was the first time you got picked for the England deaf team?
So
do you remember where you was?
So the trial was in. I think the trial was around December 2019 or January 2020.
So how old were you then?
Time. 18. I was 18 at the time. It was like a selection day kind of thing. obviously I was part of the talent pathway, but a selection day is when you get all the players that you think might have the potential to play for England. I went to it. I got invited. I just happened to play really good on the day, and then I got selected. I got the email about 2 months later. Yeah, it was quite a while though. 2 months later, so obviously they must have been really careful.
Yeah.
Selecting the players. Got invited to the camp in February, and then had a camp, and then it was gutting that because COVID came in March, a month after. So I didn't have another camp with them for another over a year.
Yeah.
It was rubbish. Obviously, we stayed on top of fitness and stuff like that, and we had all the resources from the staff, trying to keep us fit, keep us on our toes. But it was great. But I think the second camp, a year later, was when it really kicked in.
Yeah. What did that entail? What did you do in that camp?
So it was that camp. It was over a year later. It was around May 2021. We just had loads of meetings about what the plans are and stuff like that, and all the plans were really positive. Like we got the World Championships, we got the Under-21 European Championships, we got Tri Nations coming up against Germany next month.
Yeah.
Just all these competitions coming up. So I wasn't absolutely looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised you are. Where have you been now then? So you've been to America with England. You've been to Greece. Oh, talk to us about the Greece game.
Oh God.
Obviously, don't say anything that will get yourself in trouble. But
well, that day I didn't start. Luckily, I wouldn't want to start anyway, just because how disgusting, how dirty they are. I'm putting it out there. Greece, you are dirty. You are dirty. But so basically, that game we went to Greece. We trained for 2 days, and then the third day we had a game, and then Greece they as soon as the first touch from kickoff started, they went straight in. Pulling, pushing, elbow, punching, grabbing, spitting.
I remember
all the things that you can name, they did it.
Yeah, I was watching on the live stream. You sent our group chat a link to the live stream.
Yeah.
And it just all was kicking off every 10 minutes.
It was disgusting. But pretty much, they didn't let us play our football at all.
Yeah. Do you think that's why they resorted to them tactics? They knew you'd outclass them.
Yeah, I think. So because of that game, I think we should have probably been above them in the rankings, but obviously because they won, we lost 3-1 at the time.
Yeah.
I think they're above us now, but hopefully the World Championships, Greece are in the World Championships.
Oh really?
So hopefully.
Second game. Hopefully do what you did to
get our revenge.
Yeah, I was gonna say get your revenge like you did in that FA Cup as well against. What was the team you beat with Farsley Celtic called again?
St John's.
St John's.
Yeah, a London team.
Aren't they known as like the Barcelona of deaf football? They're like the top of the top.
They were pretty much the Barcelona deaf team. Don't get me wrong, St John's, unbelievable team. Full of England internationals. And they've been a club for over 100 years.
Oh, what, a deaf club?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Deaf club for 100 years.
Fair play.
Lots of history. They won about, I'm not sure how many they won, but I think it was like 3, 4, 5 deaf Champions Leagues.
Oh, really?
A club with a lot of history. But anyway, about that Greece game, we had an analyst that day. He was on one end of the pitch, and after it was all done, we all got back. He collected all the clips and the videos of all the fouls that Greece called.
Yeah.
He got 55 clips.
Really?
Yeah.
Of all the 1,000 like disgraceful moments, God.
And because of that, we used every single clip to appeal with to the federation, and they were like, "Don't see anything wrong with it."
Really? What was the
just brushed it off.
What was the referee? Where was he from?
Greece.
Did he? Oh, really? So it was all a bit.
Yeah,
Don't want to say dodgy,
Greece.
but anyway, back to St George's.
Yeah.
So how long are your camps then? So you go away for your training camps. Do you go away before games, or is it a schedule like throughout the year?
So normally it's a camp every month. Sometimes twice a month. But I mean, so the men's, they have a camp once a month because I'm part of the under-21s and the men's, sometimes have camps twice a month.
Yeah.
Pretty much is so the plan at the moment is just to try and get as many games in as we can, as much as we can before the World Championships.
Yeah.
We want to play against teams that are that are challenging for us. Just because we know that when we go to the World Championships, we are going to play against hard teams.
Yeah, the best of the best. So.
Yeah, so we could potentially be playing against Turkey, who are one of the best in the world.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they've all fought.
Well, I know that that Turkish deaf player, he played for a football league.
Hussein
Yeah,
Hussein he was the best player for Turkey, but unfortunately he passed away.
Yeah.
With I think a cardiac arrest or something like that. Yeah, it was pretty bad. It was really bad for the deaf community, and obviously a lot of young players look up to him, especially me. He was absolutely fantastic. I played against him once, and he was just
class.
couldn't get past him once.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah.
What position did he play?
I think he was a midfielder, sort of.
Yeah.
Midfielder, left mid, right mid, something like that. But yeah, he was absolutely class. I think when I played against him, he was getting to a quite old age.
Yeah.
But he was still
on top of his
still
game.
played like a young player, pretty much.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, so you said he inspired you. Is there any other footballers that inspire you, deaf or hearing footballers, that when you was younger you look up to?
There's been a few deaf players that I've looked up to. I've watched a few deaf international games when I was younger, and the couple of players that I looked up to was Jamie Clark. Jamie Clark, he's always played at a high level of football alongside with deaf football as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a great player. I remember seeing him when I was about 10 years old, and I was in a changing room with him, just having a chat with him. He was saying like, we was in the changing room, and he was like, one day that's gonna be your seat in the changing room, and then 10 years later,
you're playing alongside
the same
him.
Team now, yeah.
Yeah, that is class.
Yeah, I'm just on the right wing trying to feed him the ball now. It's crazy.
He's probably fuming at you then. He can't do it.
They're all pinpoint, I'm telling you.
Yeah, I hope so. So we spoke about your England career.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference like then between when you're playing for England and playing for Farsley Celtic? And Kiverton as well, your hearing team.
Yeah, so...
And I don't mean just the difference in rules of play, I mean like for you. Like how does it affect you when you're playing on the pitch with hearing people compared to when you don't have your cochlear implanting?
So I think with the deaf team, I think it's more a case of just... Okay, we'll start hearing team. So hearing team, it flows naturally and smoothly. It does as a deaf team as well, but not as not as natural as smooth. Because obviously the players can communicate with each other. You know, you could say pass the ball, or you can shout man on, or you could shout shoot. You know, obviously you're feeding to the players what you want them to do. But obviously with the deaf team, you can't really do that. So I think mainly with the deaf team, it's just instinct. So you just got to go with your gut.
Yeah.
But there are a couple of things that you could do as well. You know, for example, hearing teams, they naturally check their shoulders. You know, they see a player coming up onto them. You know, they check their shoulders and then they could turn them, or there's a player coming onto you. You pass the ball. You're checking your shoulders all the time. But with the deaf team, you got to check it every second.
Yeah, you're just always scanning. Do you think that's helped you for when you're playing hearing football?
Oh yeah, 100%. I think when I was like 18 or 19, I never checked my shoulder at all. Like I was just one of them ones who just get the ball and just hoped for the best.
Yeah.
But nowadays, like 21, 22, Andy Smith, the coach, he played for Scotland and he played for Rangers. He was a good level.
Yeah.
Good level, very good level. He emphasised the fact that you got to check your shoulders every single second. So we did that. We started doing it, and the game flows so much more smooth now. It's helped.
Is he a your coach for Deaf England, Andy Smith?
Yeah.
Does he coach a hearing team as well, or is he just your?
I don't really know his coaching history.
No.
That much at all. But I mean, from what I've seen so far, he's been absolutely class. Absolutely brilliant. Yeah, he's taught me loads, and I think his plan is to stick with us for a long time coming now.
Yeah.
So I mean, he's a striker as well. He scored for Scotland. He scored.
Jeez, good player to learn from.
He's played for Airdrie.
Yeah.
Airdrie at the time. I think that's how you say it. At the time, it was quite a high level in Scotland, but I think they're like in Division 2 of Scotland now. but he was top scorer for them.
Oh, really?
Broke records for them. Yeah, he was absolutely class. And he got a couple of caps for Scotland.
God, that's good,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's wicked. Yeah.
What's so you've obviously had some good moments in your football career. What would you say is your best and your worst moments playing? It could be here in football, could be deaf football. Have you ever had any bad news or good news?
Yeah, so I think. So I think I'll start with the good news. Well, I haven't really had any.
Surely it's when you
bad.
got the call up to England.
Yeah, I think. I'll say injuries. Injuries. I think they do really hit you. 'Cause
Yeah.
obviously, you're playing when football's your life, pretty much. Even just a week or 2 weeks out with an injury, it sucks. It honestly sucks.
Do you feel like when you come back, you're you've lost a few levels?
Yeah. You backtrack.
Yeah.
So I was just it's not always injuries. It was illness as well. I was ill literally about 2 weeks ago. I was bedbound for about a week and a half.
Yeah.
Went back into football, and I was absolutely blowing.
Really?
Yeah. It was, yeah. So I need to basically get my fitness back. Yeah, it was horrible. But injuries as well. Injuries, yeah, really gets you. They obviously when you're playing football, for your clubs, weekend in weekend out, it's basically your job, your hobby. You just feel empty pretty much. You're like, oh, I should be going to football training tonight, but you can't because you're injured. And then obviously you can't really go to the gym or anything like that because you don't want to risk the injury and stuff like that. So all you got to do is just sit there, just wait for it to recover and rest.
Yeah.
And then just come back. Yeah. Injuries were awful. I had a weird injury as well. It's not like a classic like hamstring injury or anything like that. I had a chest injury, which it was called costochondritis.
Yeah.
And it's a tear, a cartilage. So you got your ribs.
Yeah.
And then you got your cartilage in between your ribs. I torn it.
Oh, really?
Like,
How did you manage that? Was that playing football or?
Not absolutely no idea. I just woke up one morning and it was all inflamed.
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad. I was out for about 4 months. Yeah, it was rubbish.
What was that like trying to get back get back to full fitness? Did you get sent like a gym plan that you had to follow?
Yeah, I was like a rehab. So I was part of TAS, and they give you like strength conditioning, psychology, nutrition and stuff like that. And the strength conditioning sessions that I did with them was basically just trying to, because it was the injury was like on the left side.
Yeah.
I had to stretch it all out, make sure basically strengthen it and stuff like that. And yeah, it worked. It paid off. I haven't had an injury in the same place ever since, so I think it's all good. But yeah, it really sucks having an injury.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there never been any moments on the pitch? Because I read about when that person abused you for you being deaf on the pitch and stuff, and I just wanted to know how that affected you. Like when you play here in football, does it put you off ever that people might say something?
Well, at the time when I got abused, just for being deaf, it was awful. It was horrible. It wasn't nice or pleasant.
Do you want
at
to
all.
talk us through like how it happened and what happened?
So, is there allowed to be swearing on the podcast?
Yeah, you're allowed to swear if you want.
So what the guy said to me was pretty bad. He said, so basically, at the start he didn't say it straight in. He was basically trying to wind me up.
Yeah.
He
Was this when you was at Stamford?
Yeah, Stamford. Yeah. It was a FA Youth Cup game. He basically, was like trying to pinch my triceps, and he was like getting his metal studs and trying to scrape the back of my calf and stuff like that, like really trying to wind me up.
Yeah.
And then obviously he wasn't really he did wind me up a little bit, but I still kept my cool. And then I think it was a corner, and he really got on my nerves at the corner, and I just basically pushed him, saying basically F off. Then he just started saying you deaf, see you next Tuesday, you deaf twat. He just said it for the next 90 minutes. But obviously when he said it for the first time, I was like, wow, I've never had that before. Like getting abused for playing the game that you love, and just for being born with something that you can't help, you can't help changing at all. It wasn't nice at all. So it was just a massive shock, and then pretty much after he said that in the game, I was out of the game pretty much.
Yeah.
I was completely focused on what you said and not actually on the
It
game.
just got into your head so much.
So much. Yeah, it just said it for pretty much for the whole 90 minutes.
Has it ever happened again since then?
Yeah, five side.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
When we played five-a-side.
I don't think that was as bad, but I mean, I think the heat at the moment just took over.
And I suppose that at five-a-side compared to like professional football, it's a lot different. Like I feel like as a professional footballer, you should know.
Yeah.
I know they're not professional,
they know
but
their
still,
limits,
yeah,
don't
you
they?
you shouldn't be saying. You can try and like pinch you and stuff like that. Like that's fair game, really.
Yeah,
Try and get in your head.
Yeah.
But like being discriminative and
Yeah.
is a bit of a step too far.
So you're right. So professional levels, obviously players, you know, they know they know their limits and stuff like that. It's fair enough to wind up some players and stuff like that. That's part of the game. But obviously to involve someone's disability, race, gender, that's a line too far, pretty much. But it's so at the time that game at five-a-side, we was just were we winning or something? I don't know.
No, I think we were getting battered. I think it was the one game we lost.
I was shocked. And I remember I think I was at the corner. Obviously, you got by the side. You got
Yeah,
walls
in
and
the
stuff.
walls.
I was in the corner, and the guy when I was in the corner, he just went straight into the back of me, and then I think I just turned around, just ignored it completely. It just didn't even say anything.
Yeah.
And then walked past him, and then behind me he said, "I'll knock off that thing strapped to your head," and then I just turned. I
remember you lost your head completely.
I was like, "What did you just say?" And then obviously the heated moment just took me over.
Yeah.
Went up to him, and then it was pretty bad. And then obviously everyone started coming, and then I was absolutely fuming. So the referee took me off. Just went to cool my head down a bit, and then obviously the players on that team on the subs were like saying to me, "Oh, just calm down, mate." Like,
don't cry about it and stuff like that.
You're being pathetic, mate. And
does that get you more? Does that get you more annoyed?
What's that?
Does that make you more annoyed when people say stuff like that?
Yeah.
Because it's like obviously they wouldn't understand what it's actually like.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as they said that, I was just getting more angry.
Yeah.
I think one of the teammates who was on the subs for me was basically trying to cool me down pretty much. But yeah, I did manage to cool my head down, but luckily that team got banned.
From the league. Yeah. I know your dad's been a massive help with you in your career, and I know you guys are really close.
Yeah.
And I just wondered if you had anything to say about your dad. Say how he helped you get into football. And how he made you a Chelsea fan as well.
He didn't make me a Chelsea fan.
Oh, did he not?
Nah, it was my mates at primary school.
Max Porter.
That's the one. Yeah,
Max
Porter. Yeah, he made me a Chelsea fan.
Yeah.
Don't know why. It just I saw him supporting Chelsea, and I thought, you know what, I'll support them as well.
He chose well.
Yeah, and then I did. Well, I mean, not at the moment, but
yeah.
Potter out. But yeah, I supported them ever since, and haven't changed teams or anything like that at all.
No.
Unlike some people like Brandon Grippich.
Yeah, it's disgraceful. From Man United to Liverpool.
Shocking, mate.
Yeah. What are the sacrifices like that your dad's had to make to help you get into the England career?
Loads. Yeah, absolutely loads. He's made countless, sacrifices. He's had to do things out of his way to help me numerous times. For example, I played for Derby futsal. Derby futsal at the time was like part of the England talent pathway.
Yeah.
So you play for a club, and then the England scouts keep an eye on you, check on you and stuff like that. Obviously, every single weekend, my dad used to drive me to Derby on Saturdays and Sundays, and then play for Derby, train with Derby, and then play for Derby, and then that went on for about 2 or 3 years, and then and because of that, if I never got involved with Derby as much as I did, I would never got into England at all.
No.
I would not got involved at all, and obviously him driving me to camps, before I passed my driving test. He drove me to Linnishall, which is the other training centre. It used to be England's old training centre.
Before St George's.
Yeah. And then obviously St George's Park as well. He drove me about everywhere. And then obviously when when one of them days you just can't be bothered to do anything. You can't be bothered to train. You go through one of them ones, And my dad would be like, "Oh, come on, just try and get
Always
get
drag
me,
you out of bed and stuff.
Yeah, try and get me motivated and stuff." And I think like without that support and motivation from him, I definitely wouldn't be where I am now.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Andy Palmer's done an amazing job as well, hasn't he?
Big up Andy Palmer.
Legend. And I want to touch on your future as well, just before we finish. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Because if the football thing doesn't work out, I'm 100% hedging my bets on you becoming a commentator for BT Sport.
No way.
Yeah, I
Really?
can just see it happening. Even like on this podcast now, people would agree with me on this podcast. Like, Will could definitely become a commentator on
Beautiful
BT.
voice.
Yeah, got a face for radio. He definitely doesn't.
So obviously, football number one priority. Yeah. So at St George's Park, they got a wall of players who have 50 caps, 100 caps, 150 caps. It's very ambitious, but I can definitely get to about at this rate. I can definitely get to about 50 caps.
How many caps are you on now?
2.
I thought you were gonna say like 20.
No, I'll be racking them this year.
Yeah.
I'll rack them
well,
up
with the Euros and stuff coming up.
Yeah, if I keep up my fitness and like keep the level I'm at, I'll definitely rack up the stats.
Yeah.
But 2 caps. But just remember, I'm still 21 years old.
Yeah,
so
you've got years and years left in you. How old's Jamie Clark if he's still playing? And you said you were looking up to
32?
Yeah, see, so you got another 10 years at
And
least.
to be fair, the way he's playing right now, he could play for another 3 or 4 years.
Ronaldo, the deaf footballer Ronaldo.
But yeah, that's the aim pretty much. Get to 50 caps, 100 caps, 150 caps.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very ambitious, but I do believe myself. I think I can do it. Yeah, I do believe myself. Another ambition. I mean, after I retire, maybe. Just hopefully be involved in the FA in some sort of way.
Yeah, in the coaching setups.
Yeah. Maybe help. The emerging talent camps, regional. I think like some players. I feel like some of the players need someone to look up to.
Yeah. Do you feel like you're filling those shoes now? You was once that kid, and now you're almost the person that the kids look up to now. I've been told by some parents that I've been like a role model. Yeah, I've seen on your Instagram and stuff.
Yeah, which is really nice. Like it's really nice for them to say. But I feel like I've got a long way to go. To inspire more children and more players. But yeah, I just want to inspire some more people. Just make them realise that deaf football is basically a big deal now. The levels rising. You've got more people watching. You've got more players coming in. You got a higher standard of coaches and staff coming in.
Well, you're definitely on your way to doing that, to inspiring more people.
Yeah, pretty much. Been going to schools as well.
Yeah, talking in schools.
Yeah, schools. Just teaching them about deaf football, like what it's like being deaf. Teaching a bit of sign language as well.
Yeah.
For example, if they have some deaf teammates on their team, they can learn a few sign languages, just to help them make them feel more involved, make them fit in. Just stuff like that. I just want to raise a bit more awareness.
Yeah.
I think it's looking good at the moment.
100% it is going well. Anyway, this has been Retrospect episode 3 with William Palmer, Jack Grealish's best mate. And hopefully, do you want to say anything actually before I finish it? Any final words?
Yeah, Retro Podcast. Yeah, it's been a pleasure being here. Thank you for the invitation. And thank you very much. I hope I'll get another invite sometime.
Yeah, hopefully we'll have you back on. Yeah. When you get your 50th cap, we'll do a part 2.
We'll do it.
Nice one. Anyway, see you guys Friday 6 p.m. next week for episode 4. Ciao.